Hello and thank you for joining us for another episode of Easy Cooking. Tonight we're going to make a sweet treat because we feel like it. And we are going to make my wife's Grandma Alice delicious Texas sheet cake, which is pretty much a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting on it, but it's insanely good. Once you have it, you don't want to have any other chocolate cake. It's a family favorite. Lily tonight is going to help me make it, right Lily? Thank you, babe. Now this recipe is a little longer than our usual easy recipes. It takes a little bit of work, but I don't want you to be scared. It's gonna be set up a little differently. We have 3 sets of ingredients that we need to prep for the cake part, and then we do the frosting and pour it on top. Basically the cake part prep takes a little longer than actual baking. So before we get started, let's see what ingredients we need. It's gonna be 3 sets of ingredients, because we add them in 3 separate times into our mixture before we bake it. So let's see what we need. Like I said, tonight we're doing things a little different. I'm gonna show all of my ingredients for the cake at once because there's quite a few. Here we have 2 sticks of butter, cocoa powder, water, and a pinch of salt for the first batch of ingredients, followed by sugar and flour for the second batch of ingredients, followed by eggs, baking powder, vanilla, and buttermilk for the last batch of ingredients, and that's all for the cake part. Now that we know what we need for the cake part, we can get started. Lily, do you want to get adding things to your saucepan?
Yeah.
First, before you get going, saucepan, because the first part of your ingredients needs to be put on the stove and brought to a boil. Once we bring it to a boil, then we put it in a mixing bowl and mix the rest of it. So, Lily, you can start by adding 2 sticks of butter to our saucepan. Thank you, babe. Yep, good, thank you. You don't have to let your butter get soft, but I just took mine earlier. You can add the water, Lily. Yep, doesn't really matter what order, but then it'd be easier to pour the cocoa powder and the water. Thank you. I'll take that.
Now
you can add the salt. Thank you. And last but not least, very carefully, sprinkle the cocoa powder in there. Good. Thank you, love. All right. And now we're going to take our mixture with the first batch of ingredients and we'll put it on the stove top. And we'll bring it to a boil. I'm going to put it on high temp. All you want to really do is melt your butter, get things cooking in here as fast as you want, but don't burn it, of course. So I'll put it on higher.
Yay! Can I see? I want to check it out now.
The water is starting to boil a little bit, but our butter is still not melted, so we're going to give it a stir. Make sure everything is mixed well and melted. And once it's brought to a full boil and the butter is melted, we'll throw it in our mixing bowl. Our mixture just came to a full boil and the butter just finished melting. So we're going to turn it off. We're going to carry it over. Lily, be careful. Daddy's going to pour this in our mixing bowl.
What is it?
That's our water.
Is it chocolate?
Well, not quite yet. We don't have the sugar in. Bear with me, Lily. Yep, give it a little stir. Is all the cocoa powder mixed?
Not yet.
I think everything is mixed. It's kind of boiling. First, we're going to throw the sugar in there.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
Sure, here's the sugar, Lily. Just carefully sprinkle it in there. Awesome.
Can I do it? I want to
with the
stir.
spoon.
I want to stir.
Sure, baby, bear with me. Okay, you stir this. Here's a spoon. I'll take this.
This is a lot of sugar.
Wow, we're making a cake. Of course it's a lot of sugar. Now it's going to be nice and sweet. But we are going to add our flour.
I want to.
Okay, sprinkle it very gentle inside the bowl. Cool. Awesome. I have a mixer out. I'm not sure that I'm going to use it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And we're gonna
you're done stirring a little. Can I stir a little?
Yeah, let me mix the flours.
Once it kind of gets brown.
Yep. And I'm just using my...
Are you making dough?
Yeah. I'm just using my spoon that I used to stir my boiling mixture instead of just getting the spatula out and getting that dirty. Plus, I may or may not use the mixer. I don't know yet. I actually probably will a little bit to make sure everything is mixed well and it's not clumpy.
Can I stir it kind of?
Sure, you can stir it a little bit, then Daddy will plug the mixer in. And then we're gonna have our fourth batch of ingredients here, but before we put them, Daddy wants to
No, this is our
mix
third
things.
batch.
Oh yeah, third batch. Did they say fourth batch?
Yeah. We did 1, 2. This is our second. Now this is
Okay,
our...
I think that's good enough. Let's get that spoon out. Let me get some of that with the mixer.
You're going to have to wash that thing.
Oh, I know that. That's the thing about cooking, Lily. You have to wash the things that you use. Okay, Daddy's gonna stir it a little bit.
Just do not give it too loud, okay?
Okay, this is good, Lily. Why don't you do me the honors and start throwing things in there? You can put the eggs in. Careful. The baking powder.
It went right on the egg.
Be gentle with the buttermilk. Ooh, buttermilk. Thank you, Lily.
What is this?
Vanilla. Okay, we're gonna stir that a little more.
Just not too loud, okay?
Yep. Okay, that's good enough. We don't want to overmix it.
Now what do we do?
Now we're gonna pour it on top of a greased cookie sheet. Excuse me, Lily. And Daddy's gonna make a mess. Be careful, Lily. There's chocolate everywhere. One thing we forgot to do today was preheat our oven to 400. So we're gonna do that real quick. Turn it on. 400. Let it heat up. Meanwhile, we are going to get a cookie sheet and grease it up.
Daddy, can I do
You want to make sure you get a decent sized cookie sheet. This one is pretty much 43
It's
by
really
29. Oh my gosh, centimeters. Really? Where's my inches? This one is 17 and a quarter by 11 and a half inches. This is what you want. We're going to grease it up.
That's a big pan.
Yep. So we're going to spray it.
Hey, Daddy, can I pour it?
Then what do we put our spoon away, didn't we? Once it's sprayed, actually I'm going to use a spatula for this particular step. Once it's sprayed,
Can I have a spatula?
sure, we're going to go ahead
wanna
and pour
do
it
this
into our cookie sheet. This is a thin chocolate cake. It's meant to be that way. Okay, Lily, let me finish up. Thank you, love. That's the beauty of it.
Daddy, can we watch this in our own family?
Of course, that's the beauty of this one. It's a thin chocolate cake, so when you pour that frosting on top, you get more cake with frosting. Or should I say, I'm sorry, more frosting with the cake. I don't know what I'm thinking about today. Making all kinds of messes and all that good stuff. So, we'll let this sit until our oven heats up.
Daddy, can we make our frosting?
We're gonna make our frosting here in a second. Dad needs to clean up his mess first, Lily. And then we're gonna make the frosting. Now that our oven has preheated up to 400, we're gonna put our cake in. And we're gonna bake it for 15 to 18 minutes. Again, it's a thin cake, so you don't need too much time. I'll start with 15 minutes. My oven tends to be a little hot, so we'll see you in a little bit. I'll let you know if I add 3 more minutes at the end.
Daddy, can we make...
Now that I've cleaned our mess and our cake is in the oven, we can get our frosting done so that when our cake comes out, we can pour the frosting on top of it. First, we're gonna start with a saucepan.
Saucepan. pan?
Because, let me make sure it's not hot. Okay, because we want to add some butter.
Can I add it?
Sure, babe. Add some regular milk. Whew, girl, careful.
Here.
Vanilla. Careful. Thank you. Put it right there. Cocoa powder, gentle.
Okay.
And cocoa powder. And we want to take that and we want to bring it to a boil again. This time I'm going to put my mixture to medium heat because I don't have that much milk in there and it's going to get hot pretty quick. And the main point is to boil the butter. Boil the butter. The main point is to bring the butter to melt. And bring this to a boil. So medium, high tops, no more than that. We'll let that warm up. And then we're going to do the same thing, transfer it to the mixing bowl, add the sugar, mix it with the mixer, this time with the whisk.
Daddy,
I just don't feel like cleaning my other parts
Daddy,
after
can I whisk it a little with my little whisk?
Sure, babe. I just don't feel like cleaning the other parts after I made my huge mess.
Can I put it in?
No, not yet. Not until we get the other stuff in. Our mixture here is boiling. We're going to transfer it to our mixing bowl. Excuse me, Lily, I don't want to burn you. We want to scrape every single little bit of that chocolate butter milk mix. We don't want to leave any behind. Okay. Just a second, Lily, I'll put this over here. We're going to take this.
Wait, I want to whisk it a little first.
Before you put the powdered sugar? Sure, hon. You can whisk a little. Okay, now, Daddy's going to do this because it's a big bowl of powdered sugar and we don't want to be cleaning that off the floor. We're going to put our powdered sugar very gently in here. Perfect.
Then now I can stir it in.
And then we're going to use our mixer.
No,
Oh, okay. You good? Hey! You're taking my frosting away, girl! Okay.
no, give it to me. I can rinse it off. I might need it.
Okay. Now, before you turn your mixer on, make sure to do this a little bit, because you don't want powdered sugar all over your room. I just cleaned up my chocolate mess, and I don't want to clean a powdered sugar mess. So we're gonna do this for a minute. And then I'm gonna turn it on. Second, babe. Okay.
Me mix it.
You can mix it now. Now, ideally, you want to do your frosting after your cake comes out of the oven because you don't want it to harden before then. But Lily was being a little impatient, so we got our frosting ready. We're just gonna set it aside.
I'm done.
And I'm making a chocolate mess again.
No, I want.
You want to lick it?
Yeah.
Lick it. Okay, we'll put that aside for now. And we got more chocolate mess to clean. We'll put that aside for now. We'll wait for the cake to cook. Our timer just came off. It's been exactly 15 minutes. I'm gonna clear it, turn everything off. Our cake does look ready. And it looks amazing. I just want to show you what it looks like without dropping it. This is what you're supposed to get at the end. Let me get one of these. This is what it looks like. It's a very nice, fluffy, thin chocolate cake. You can see the holes on it. It's going to be very airy. What we're going to do now, we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes. We don't want it boiling hot, but we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes. After that, I'm going to reheat my frosting a little bit because it got cool and we want it. We want to be able to just pour it on top. So bear with me. I'll be back in a minute. Well, we were going to record pouring the frosting on top of our cake, but apparently I didn't push the record button and nothing recorded when we did that. So we reheated our frosting before we poured it on top of the cake. And this is our end result. We've already poured the frosting on. It's still a little hot, so it moves as I move the cake. But this is our cake with the frosting on. You want to make sure you have hot frosting. Lily had me make the frosting before the cake finished baking. Usually I'd wait for the cake to finish baking, and then because it needs 5 minutes, then I'll make the frosting after that. And the frosting only takes 5 minutes really. And I'll pour the hot frosting all over the cake. I use a spatula to make sure it's even. And this is what we get at the end. So I'm sorry that on the video you guys didn't see me pour the frosting on top, but today has been quite interesting. We are making sure Mama gets a surprise dinner. Lilia's mom went to take little sis to her grandma's house, and we're making dinner to surprise Mom for Mother's Day. So there's a lot going on, and we forgot to do that. It's on me. Anywho, this is the cake. It's insane. Once it cools off, Mama gets home, we're gonna give it a try, and I'll record that part too. Well, we've about had our dinner for Mother's Day, and we're ready to try our cake. And we'll just do a short video here, and then we'll all go on the table. But wanted to kind of see how it is. Lily, why don't you try it first and let me know what you think. Again, this is Grandma Alice's recipe. Good? Well, how is it? Is it moist? Is it dry? Any other thoughts besides just good? Just good? Yeah. This thing is honestly a perfect version of the super moist brownie. I mean, I can't even describe how moist this is. It's soft, fluffy, and moist. I can't even describe the deliciousness of this thing. If you think of a brownie heaven, this is it. I'll strongly recommend it. And for those who like a little bit of vanilla flavor with your brownie, but don't want ice cream, we can do this real quick. I'm gonna do some ice cream here in a minute too, but making a mess. I've been making a mess all night. This is good. I would strongly recommend you guys trying this. This is the best chocolate cake, brownie, I mean, you name it, whatever, is the best chocolate dessert. So hope you enjoy it. Like our videos, share with your friends and family.
Can I have it as dessert?
Well, that is our dessert. We're gonna take the whole thing to the table and we're gonna finish it. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Say bye, Lily.